Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your great support always. I'm so grateful for your continued support to this channel. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Kimani-Ichung'wah struggles to defend Ruto's administration as Mehdi Hassan of Al Jazeera questions its track record on campaign pledges. Kimani-Ichung'wah stranded, even to understand how he should clarify what they have done since they took over power. I want you to listen to the live embarrassment that Kimani-Ichung'wah got from the Al Jazeera. But before we listen to him, as you always do, please consider liking the video. When you like the video, you automatically support the work that I'm doing in this channel, because sometimes you watch and you forget liking the video. So this is just a reminder, as you watch, consider liking the video. Thank you so much. Let us listen to this.
You are a close ally and supporter of President William Ruto, who is super unpopular right now because he and you and your party haven't delivered for the people of Kenya. Your 2022 election manifesto made 281 promises. Can you tell our audience tonight how many of those have been fulfilled over the last 2.5 years?
True, as you say. The perception out there is that the administration is quite unpopular. Nothing uncharacteristic of any administration 2 years after an election, especially an administration that came into office in the backdrop of a very dilapidated economy with very many promises, as you said. But I can assure you that will change in due course. The implementation of a manifesto is page by page, chapter after chapter.
But you haven't implemented it. That's the problem.
It is being implemented.
How many of the 281 promises have been implemented?
I'll not give you a straight answer of 2 or 10 or 200, but I'll tell you.
You're the first politician who said to me, I will not give you a straight answer, just bluntly. I can give you an answer. I've got the answer. It's 14 out of 281 promises. That means 95% of your promises have not been met 2.5 years in.
That is your number, Mehdi, not my number.
It's not my number. It's the number of Mizalendo, a non-partisan parliamentary monitoring organization in Kenya that tracks all parties. They're saying 14 out of 281. I mean, we can run through some of them. President Ruto said he would give free internet and phone calls to Kenyans. He hasn't. He said he would start an inquiry into cronyism. He has not. He said he would ratify the International Convention Against Enforced Disappearances. He has not. I could go on and on. Kenyans are frustrated because they were lied to during the election campaign.
Well, Mehdi, as I told you, that is the perspective of Mzalendo. And that is their target.
Well, has he ratified the International Convention Against Enforced Disappearances?
We have ratified very many international conventions.
But has he ratified the International Convention Against He said he would do it straight as he comes to power. It's been 2.5 years. He could do it with a stroke of his pen. Why has he not done it?
He is yet to ratify, but it is
what are you waiting for?
Work in progress. Was there a timeline for its ratification, according to Mzalendo?
Many things had timelines on.
Was there a timeline?
He said he would do. He said he would do a public inquiry into cronyism within 30 days. Has he done it?
Public inquiry?
Yeah, a public inquiry to establish the extent of cronyism and state capture and make recommendations. Page 61 of your manifesto. Has he done it? It's been more than 30 days. It's been 2.5 years.
So as if that is not enough, Kenyans, Kimani-Ichung'wah, rather than explaining what their manifesto says, now he jumped to the NADCO report. Remember, NADCO report is not a manifesto of Kenya Kwanza government. NADCO report came in just the other day when there was a disagreement in between the opposition and the government. And they agreed on some issues to be implemented, which William Ruto decided to throw it into a dustbin. But Kimani-Ichung'wah is now seeing that, according to him, Kenyans voted for this regime because of NADCO report. I want you to listen to also this one.
If you read the NADCO report, there are recommendations on what is to be done on state cronyism, on state capture, on extrajudicial killings. That is captured in the NADCO report.
But you haven't done what the manifesto called for on multiple things. And look, you know, and you admitted, to be fair, that people are unhappy. There's a perception of the government that's unpopular. Kenyans have been most upset about the cost of living. And yet, when thousands of young Kenyans took to the streets in protest of your government last year, the finance bill, your government opened fire on them, killed them, forcibly abducted and disappeared them. How do you justify such a violent crackdown on your own citizens in a democracy?
First, let me say this, Mehdi. As you said, because you never allowed me to answer the question on the promises kept. I told you the manifesto is being implemented chapter after chapter, right from housing to the cost of living that you're speaking about. Because, of course, you cannot judge what was to be done in 5 years, in a short 2 years.
Well, some of them you said you would do in 30 days, and you haven't. But just deal with the violence. How do you justify what happened last summer in Kenya?
Now I'm coming to that. You said the cost of living. I can tell you what we've done with the cost of living, from the subsidizing of production rather than subsidizing consumption, as we promised in our campaigns. You remember the first demonstrations after the elections in 2023 were about the cost of living.
Which also were greeted with violence from the state.
And unfortunately, all demonstrations end up with deaths, which is a very unfortunate incident. And it is not true that people demonstrate and you open fire. It is just the nature of what happens with our demonstrations, where they turn violent and the police have to intervene. And let me say that at this point, it's not just unfortunate. We all regret the loss of life during the 2022 demonstrations and even the demonstrations of June last year. Unfortunate that lives had to be lost, but it was not that fire was opened on young.
Yeah, the way you talk, lives had to be lost. No, lives were taken. Right? People were shot in the head.
No life ought to have been lost, and nobody can justify the loss of life anywhere in the world out of demonstrations
According to a Reuters investigation, 19-year-old Charles Owino went to a protest, was killed with a gunshot to the head. The police recorded his death as a road accident. 21-year-old Shaquille Obienge, he died the same day as Owino, also shot in the neck. Police recorded his death as a road accident. If these deaths are so regrettable, why is the Kenyan police covering them up?
Fortunately, Mehdi, we have a very robust constitution in the country, the best constitution in sub-Saharan Africa. This constitution has very good and clear safeguards that make sure that everybody is held to account for your actions, including the police. You've mentioned 2 or 3 people. I think from IPOA's records, the Independent Police Oversight Authority, from their records, they have recorded about 60 deaths from last year's demonstrations. And there are some, I think.
So Ichung'wah is a man who has failed to tell the truth on whatever is happening in their government. It is a total shame for such kind of leadership to be portrayed outside there as a leadership that is claiming to make Kenya as Singapore. When you look at when you listen to the argument of Ichung'wah, you can tell the man is so incompetent even to illustrate what they are likely to do as a government. One thing that also I've realized with this man, Ichung'wah, is trying to defend something that is outside there. Telling Kenyans that they are going to deal with the NADCO report. And he is being asked about the manifesto. The manifesto and NADCO report is 2 different things. When they stormed the street, they wanted William Ruto to be elected. They had a manifesto. Why are we talking about NADCO report? William Ruto alishatupa kwa dustbin. The truth of the matter here is, William Ruto's government is just a total shame, not only in Africa, but across the world. You can even tell, wale ambao wamekuwa kwa ile interview pale Al Jazeera, you can tell it. We have become now a laughing talk, you know. Wako na uhuru ya kutukejeli because the kind of leadership we are having. So traumatizing. But again, they will not. We look at how Ichung'wah was saying that their actions are just allegations. In other words, he's saying There's nothing like abduction. If you are in the government, you have failed to tell the people who are abducting Kenyans. You are saying it is not police, it is not DCI, it is not NIS. Who are these individuals? Yet you have the government. You have the right to investigate who are these individuals, which they have failed. It means it is them. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Drop your opinion at the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much because of your great support. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Bye bye till we meet in another video.